So the asking for more, you led me into this really, really well. And I mentioned that we do a workshop with young professionals on how to ask for more in your career, but it's something that I want to really pay attention to as you are going into your first job. Because even if this is like a normal, like there are only 2 women from Rice that get this job, everybody gets the same salary, there's still room to ask for more. And if that can't be in what your salary is, look at vacation, look at stock options. Recruiters and hiring managers come to you with about like a 10%, like they'll offer you 40, but they have 55 to give you. They'll offer you 70, but they have 90 to give you. There's leeway. You can talk to any hiring manager, 9 times out of 10, there's that one situation every once in a while where they can't. You are not going to lose your job by asking for more. It's not going to happen. Unless you create a public display of like horridness on YouTube about this person, you're not going to lose your job by coming to them and asking for more than what you were given. So yeah.
But like, when is that acceptable? Like, is it like when you're actually talking about your real job, or does that apply to like internships as well?
And I would have told you, like I never thought about negotiating my pay at an internship. And I have heard of so many girls as we've done this who have gone into their internships and negotiated their base of what they were being paid hourly, which I thought was really incredible because those things did not even cross my mind as a young adult in college taking my first internships. Didn't even think about it. But there is always room for that, both with your internship and with that base salary that you get. When we look at the reason why women only make 77.8 cents on the male dollar, it is not, it starts early. It really does, because a guy goes in there and negotiates his pay every single time. And every 2 months he's asking for more. And he's always talking about what he's doing. And even if he doesn't think he deserves it, he's asking for more. We have these friend of coworker who, it's a group of 7 guys. They have an Excel spreadsheet about what each other are making. It's just open, it's out there. It's a competition for them on who can make more. And that's just how it's kind of perceived, but we don't feel like we deserve it, or that there's a million reasons that we don't deserve that, or we're just really happy with what they gave us and we got the job and that's all we need. Trust me, I've done it. I've talked to myself totally out of having this conversation with bosses. The best time to do it is when you get your first offer. Yeah?
My friend recently was recruited by 2 different consulting agencies, and one of them, she called them and wanted to negotiate her starting rate because the other competing rate was higher. Yeah. And the recruiter was super short with her and said like the offer is non-negotiable, and just kind of hung up right away, and then they revoked her offer. So I'm not sure if it was just like a super rude recruiter or if they had a problem with people leaving the company. I mean, it was my friend, but it was just super strange. And I told her, you know, because that happened, you probably don't want to work with them anyways. It's pretty rude.
That would probably be my response. I've never heard that before. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's really, really interesting. I mean, you can, and they also, it's a lot of conversation about like how that went down and how the conversation happened, and if that recruiter felt like they were just playing hardball and playing someone off. He revoked it because like whatever, you have another job, but damn.
Yeah.
That's really, and I kind of want to know who it was afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say in response to that, I've heard that like, you know, going into different fields will have like a different reception for that, and like consulting, they hire a lot of like young people right out of college, and like it's really competitive, and like they know they can play. So it might be like you have to like be a little bit more careful. Like
you probably have to really massage it and create like a really well-rounded. It's not about what I need to survive in San Francisco because it's the most expensive city in the country. It's literally like market research. This is what I've done. This is what I can do for you. This is what people in my position are making in this city. Like it has to be well researched. There has to be a really great argument behind it. It's interesting sometimes when you are bouncing off of one another. To that same point, we have some friends who, there were 2 guys in college. They both got offers at different consulting firms, and they used each other's offer letter to cross the other one, to like cross-negotiate the other one, and get it higher. And they both ended up getting much higher offers, which is like insane. Like that's what guys do though, right? Like they share their offer letters, they talk about their money, and it's something that I hope you guys get a little bit more comfortable about, because you'll start to understand what people are making. And I understand that money can be a very private thing sometimes, but just getting comfortable with knowing that what you deserve, and how to ask for those things. And so taking money off the table, when you are in your roles, like what you did, just a title or responsibility, or asking for, the small things of just, I want to work on this project, or you hear something going on in your department, it's like, I want to be on that. Like, even if it's just extracurricular women's group in this company, like, I want to be doing that. Ask for it. Ask for it, ask for it, ask for it. Pull somebody aside and just, or someone, and create the ask. How do I do that? How do I ask? And how do I get comfortable and get confident with asking for those things? Those are really going to help you in your career, in your first job, in your internship. And then it also kind of goes into talking about yourself, right? Like, we don't like bragging about ourselves. We don't like that. And a lot of times I think it's because when we hear other women do it, we shut down. And it's the whole comparison kills and jealousy and all of those things. But if you can, how many of you have times where you're like, I really wish that I was her, or I had her job, or her internship, or her grades, or her position, whatever it is. Me too. And we have any of you heard of Christine Hassler? She wrote this amazing book called 20-something, 20 Everything. I had the opportunity to meet her, and one of my questions for her was, as a confident woman, sometimes I'll find myself comparing and wanting that, or wanting to be her, or wishing I had that. And how do I handle that? Like, how do I flip that for myself? And what she said is, she's like, when there's a hot stove, do you put your hand on it and hold it there, or do you realize it's hot and you pull it away? You pull your hand away. That's what we do. So with comparisons, it's that same thing. It's a hot stove that's going to burn you. If you keep your mind there, you're going to get burned. And so the way that you can flip comparisons for yourself is by looking at it. Some of you probably have heard of this, of modeling. Take that woman that you are jealous of, or that you want, whatever it is, pull her aside and ask her, how does she do that? How does she get an entire room of women to laugh? How does she, talk to strangers like that? How does she, get those grades, whatever it is? I mean, it can be whatever it is for you, and model those things. So versus comparing, find a way to get to know her and model that behavior. Befriend her, get to know those things, and that will start to bring down the walls of comparison. And that's one element, but also just like getting comfortable knowing that you're the shit, and it's okay to talk about it. We should be talking about what we're great at, the things that we're amazing at. I've gotten some really phenomenal advice from mentors that says, have a list of everything you've done this month. So that when you get caught in an elevator with the CEO of that company and he asks whatever, you can just rattle off things that you've done. Or when you're talking with your boss and you have a check-in, well, it's like, I've done this, this, and this. And then purely as a student, it's a confidence builder, right? Like, you know that you organized an event for 50 women who spent 2 hours and there were cupcakes. And so I have started, please, I shouldn't do that because it's on camera. So I have a list of really amazing crap that I've done this month. And I keep it as a sticky on my computer, and I just write it down. Because it helps me remember that even when I'm getting super stressed about this thing not going right, or not enough people there, or totally screwing up over there, that this, and this have gone really well this month. And it really helps you to talk about yourself, to be proud of yourself, to know that you're doing really well. Because if you're like anything like me, or like most women that I meet, you harbor on the things that went wrong. And that's not going to get you very far. So you really have to learn how to hold, like, there could be 20 things that went really well and one that went wrong, and this is the one you remember, right? And finding a way to flip that. I'm visual, I write them down however you need to do it, just keeping a running list of things that you do really well or that you have done really well. The other thing that we want to think about, and this came up with Molly, is talking to people you don't know. So whether that's talking to me after this, talking to one another, and sometimes you go into a room and like, I don't feel like doing that right now. I just like don't want to talk to people. I don't want to talk to people I don't know, but that is a missed opportunity. That's a missed chance to learn something, to share something, to be someone for someone else. And we're gonna learn big by making mistakes. I know it sucks. Nobody likes screwing up. Nobody. But that's where you're gonna learn the most, and really create connection and conversation and grow a little bit more. And then giving feedback and receiving feedback. How many people like being critiqued? Nobody. And you want to know what will become even harder. One of the things that I've found in your career is being able to give feedback to peers and to other people that you're working with. And really, I think the biggest thing with receiving feedback is A, it's going to help you develop and help you grow, but also not being defensive and take it or leave it. I mean, they don't have to know if you didn't accept any of it. You might not agree, and that's okay, or you might totally agree. You might cry. The best advice I've ever gotten is like, take it, write it down, walk out of the room, and then cry. Just keep writing while talking. Because we're all going to get those poor reviews, or maybe a section of the review is poor, have a time where a boss is just like really critical, or a project manager, a team manager, outside client. Those things are all going to happen. They've happened to all of us. Just scribble it down. And then as soon as you walk out that threshold, then you can start bawling. And it helps because people aren't good at giving feedback. So when they start to see you shut down or you start to cry, it's not about not crying. I've cried in the workplace a zillion times. But it's just really helpful to keep it together almost for them, because they're probably more uncomfortable giving you the feedback than you are, unless they're like a really bad boss. That just like being mean. But yeah, that was really amazing advice that I got once, is just to write it, keep writing it down, smile, nod, ask questions if you have it, and then lose your shit later. Or your crap. So, the elevator pitch. This is going to help us in talking about ourselves. Does anybody know what an elevator pitch is? Or has one? Yeah.
Yeah, I have one now. I know what it is.
What is it to you?
Oh, it's a minute of me talking, so I talk, and then about me.
Yeah.
Selling yourself.
Selling yourself. Yeah,
So-
totally. Totally. Has anybody ever had to work on an elevator pitch before? Yeah. Yeah. What did you come up with? Did you come up with anything?
Oh, for myself?
Yeah.
Well, it's just a general advice I got from the Career Center that every time you go to a career fair or a networking event, you should always
Yes.
prepare a little spiel about yourself.
Exactly. It's like if I got stuck in an elevator with someone who's head of a company I really want to work for, what am I going to tell them about myself? What am I going to tell her about myself? How do I network with, 2 sentences? And so the best way to kind of put this together is really simply your education, what you're studying, some of your work experience, jobs, and then your interests. So for me, when I was coming out of college, my elevator pitch is, hey, I'm Maxie, journalism major at Lehigh. Now I'm doing my master's in sports media. I've worked at ESPN, I've worked at NFL Films. I really want to do sports broadcasting because I'm really, really good on camera. Whatever, just super simple, enthusiastic, what you're amazing at. Those are the things that were important to me then. That's a really short version. I could have gone on with like specifics or like what I was doing at each company, but it's pretty simple. So you guys are going to do your elevator pitch real quick. So I want you to turn to the other person. Write down, it's a really simple formula: education, work experience, or jobs, and your interests. And then I'm going to ask a couple of you guys to share with me. And by with me, I mean with the team. 6?
Yeah.
I've been talking for that. It's 5?
Yeah.
Wait, it's 5?
Yeah.
Oh, so we're good.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out which time zone we could be. Oh, yeah. Different time zones.
5 o'clock.
While you guys are working on elevator pitches, I'm going to be all of
Like if I was, there's something to do.
Elaborate on that.
I'm gonna give you like 90 more seconds to practice with them. Now practice with them. Start practicing now. Start practicing. Okie dokie. Who wants to share? Do it. Yeah, you go. You have to.
She's fantastic.
Okay, so tell me, stand up. Okay, we'll work through it.
Okay. So hi everyone, my name is Sonia Garcia. I'm a junior bioengineering major here at Rice. I'm also involved with RSTEL, which is Rice Center for Engineering Leadership. And I do this because I kind of really like helping students along with design. So one of the reasons that I am initially a bioengineer is because I get to tie in the task of design, which is essentially engineering with people, the human component. This past summer, I got to exercise this in an internship that allowed me to design a prosthetic arm for a little 11-year-old girl who is only born with one limb. And so she only had a left arm, and she wanted to become more independent, so we got to go through the entire process of engineering, designing, and creating a product for her that would help her carry out more activities within her daily life. So that's a big interest of mine, along with helping others. I think one of my current goals right now is to become more involved with that. So I have, Rice Center for Leadership, also Engineers Without Borders, but more volunteering and reaching out to the community and figuring out how I can help others. So in order to sort of achieve that goal, I'm trying to currently start a program here at Rice called Design for America, and hopefully it will, if it is launched, we'll be able to have a studio at Rice that will be able to take community-driven problems and be able to solve them within the Rice University to create solutions for everyone. So.
Yay! That was really wonderful. And something that I love that you put in there was your goal. And it's not anything that we wrote up here, but just to be able to say what you would like to do or where you would see yourself, I think was really, really powerful for yours. That was awesome. Thanks. Anybody else want to share? Want to follow? No? Yes? Yes. Don't make eye contact with me. I'll No?
Come on.
You don't want to? Do you want to? Okay. I'm going to move along because I'm running out of time because I'm so wordy. No, the elevator pitch, awesome. I think it's something that you can stand in the mirror, practice with yourself, practice with someone else. I mean, it takes 20 seconds to share. But just make sure you nail it down. The more that you practice, the more comfortable you will be when that moment comes where it really does matter. A lot of times it's just not going to matter. And then you'll have that one moment with that one person where it really matters. And you'll be glad that you practiced, or at least took the time to write it down.